The following presentation is part of the Beyond the Blast Doors network.
New this week in Star Wars, the Mandalorian Season 2 trailer finally drops. We celebrate its highs, and we talk about the questions that still remain.
Plus, we got a mini-movie from EA's Star Wars Squadrons, and we're going to talk about why it feels more like a movie than a video game.
We asked you if there was football in Star Wars, what would be the name of franchises in that galaxy far, far away? You certainly didn't disappoint. We sift through the dozens of submissions. Which one will be our favorite? We have absolutely no idea. We'll find out together in the same moment right now.
From the farthest reaches of the galaxy, the Midwest, you're watching Beyond the Blast Doors live.
Yes, we finally got that Mandalorian trailer. Yes, they're Emmy winners. Yes, Star Wars. Yes, it's you and I together. Yes, 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 yes. It's episode 88 of Beyond the Blast Doors Live. Welcome in on a Wednesday, breaking programming, and I'm up to no good. But I'm not by myself. Oh, of course not. I'm with my good friend, Pete Fletzer. We are here on a Wednesday night to talk the Mandalorian Season 2 trailer. A little early. We want to talk about this early, Pete. It had nothing to do with my work schedule, temporarily taking away my off days, Pete. We just wanted to do this out of the goodness of our hearts, right?
Well, it just feels like it would be wrong to wait too long to have a conversation about the Mandalorian trailer. So, yeah. But here we are. It's a Wednesday night. Just as good as a Thursday night. You could still drink wine on a Wednesday night and talk about Star Wars. I'm fine with that.
Well, of course you are. Well, and to be fair, this is still my weekend. I work a weird schedule, Saturday through Wednesday. So on Thursdays, I don't mind kicking back a cocktail, but I've only been off the clock for a few hours, and I had to put the show together. So here we are in this moment together, but so glad that you're with us for episode 88 of BTBD Live, closing in on episode 100. What the heck are we going to do for 100 episodes? Absolutely no idea. But that kind of seems to be the theme here.
We're just going to tank tops, I think, is what we're doing.
Wait, are we gonna do like a BTBD tank top? Oh yeah, baby, yeah. I need like a thicker material so that way when I'm like laying out on the beach in Fort Myers, Florida, whatever the heck that happens, I need something that will like absorb the rays, will sponge up the water on my wet body when I come out of the ocean.
Oh my!
I need something durable. Hey, we're not here to talk about my fantasies. We're here to talk, well, I don't know. The Mandalorian Season 2 trailer.
Who knows?
Might have fulfilled a fantasy for you or someone you know in your life. We'll leave that up to you. But before we actually get underway with what we want to talk about, which is the trailer for Season 2, we actually want to shout out the great work for The Mandalorian Season 1, because just tonight, Mandalorian Season 1, various episodes, won 5 Emmys, Pete, and it's for visual effects. It's for music. It's in a comedic series. We even won.
Yeah, well, that Baby Yoda is kind of funny. No, it is wild. I mean, look. This is something that Star Wars films have not done since 1977. So I think it speaks a lot about Mandalorian, the effort, the work that went into it, and I mean, look, it's funny. I was just getting some flack from my kids tonight. They were like, they were watching some show on Netflix, and they're like, "Oh, sorry, it's not The Mandalorian." I'm like, "The Mandalorian is the top watched show on streaming services. It is real, and not only that, it's winning Emmys. So it's I mean, and we all knew it should. I mean, and remarkably, what we saw in the trailer looks even more grandiose than what we saw in season 1. So I don't know where we're going from here.
So the 5 Emmys that we have here, Pete, I'm going to read them off, and they're going to be on our screen together. So this one is the most recent announced, I believe. This is Emmy for Outstanding Sound Editing for a Comedy or a Drama Series, half hour and animation. This was Chapter 1, The Mandalorian. So right off the bat, the first
Filoni.
product, this is Filoni's episode.
Yeah.
It wins an Emmy. That's freaking ridiculous. We have this next one. This is, this is Emmy winner for Outstanding Production Design for Narrative Program, Chapter 1, The Mandalorian. Okay, so now we got 2 Emmys here for Mr. Filoni. Let's see here. Did I do this right? All right, so we got this one. We got 5. We did 4. And now we have 3. And this is Chapter 2, The Child, Outstanding Sound Mixing for Comedy or Drama Series. So, Pete, I mean, here we are. We're getting narrative. We're getting comedy. We're getting drama. Yeah, these are all the things that Star Wars does. But, like, it's really cool to think of Star Wars as, like, a multi-Emmy winning property.
Yeah, I mean, look, we're still we're still, I think, in a way, getting used to Star Wars as a television property, but now it's an award-winning television property. I am stunned that we didn't get a Best Supporting Actor for Toro Calican in Episode 5. That's my little shout out to Steele Saunders. But
I'm covering you up for the comment.
Thank you. You should definitely cover me up when I speak that way. But no, it's wild because again, I don't even know where to go with this because Mandalorian has exceeded what we wanted from a show as fans. It has delivered it's delivered enough to win Emmys. So it's not just a fan service show. It's not just those of us that get together every week and talk about Star Wars and spend time on Twitter. This is being recognized by the industry. Speaks volumes about that show, no pun intended.
I'm right with you. And just to pull it up on screen here, the other 2 that we have to recognize, Chapter 7, The Reckoning, got an Emmy for Outstanding Cinematography for a single camera series. And then our last one here, well, last but certainly not least, the way the series is going, we have Chapter 2, The Child, getting Outstanding Special Visual Effects, the Emmy winner. That was is it the Rick Famuyiwa episode?
Yes, he was
right?
number 7, yeah.
So that's, I mean, my goodness. I mean, you're seeing the awards. It's like the first 2 chapters and then Chapter 7. And, you're kind of, I guess I'm a little surprised because I really thought, like, when it came to visual effects, I kind of felt like Deborah Chow's Chapter 3 was the strongest. I remember you and I, when streaming Star Wars was an actual, a full-blown show here on the network, we talked about a few times how that was, to us, the most impressive of the first season.
Yeah, it's strange because I don't know what the choices are, but I mean, think about Episode 7. There was a lot of gunfights. There was a lot of that was the episode where the TIE fighter landed. Was that the episode with the No, this Episode 8 was the one where the baby pushed the fire back. But still, I again, I don't know what goes into the decision process, but I'm excited that multiple episodes from multiple directors and really kind of different feeling episodes took home some hardware. It's pretty wild.
It is pretty wild. And what's also pretty wild is the fact that we have so many folks joining us on a Wednesday night to talk Star Wars, except the one asshole who already thumbs down our episode. But it's okay. It's okay. There's always some person. It's so... I bet I know who it is, but I can't say it out loud. Hey, you know what, though? I want to shout out the good people that are with us here on a Wednesday night, though. Gilster37, Frammy, Matthew Harrington. Nick is with us in the live chat. We got Andy. We got Apprentice Ewok. We got a few other friends of the show hanging out with us. So it's always kind of cool when you have, familiar names joining us, but then you'll get a few folks that stop by for the very first time. So do us a favor if you can right now. And we're going to try something new tonight. At least I'm going to try and be committed to doing this. I'm going to do something that I'm calling a snowball. And every time I say the phrase naked Gamorrean guard, we are going to snowball. Yeah. Wait, did I say naked or ripped?
I don't know. I think it's naked, and I'm still curious to know what snowballing means.
Okay, so this is the concept, okay? So every time I say ripped Gamorrean guard, we're all going to go on social media. We're all going to go on Twitter. We're going to share the episode We're going to tag 3 people we know on social media and try and get them into our live chat, okay, as a way to get
All right.
new folks into our live chat. This is a game that I want to play with you tonight, okay? We're only together for an hour. I want to see how many people we can get in the live chat tonight. To get some new faces. Let's introduce some people to BTBD Live tonight on a Wednesday when we are not normally live. And in case you were wondering, well, when are you guys normally? Well, it's usually 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific on YouTube on Thursdays, not Wednesdays.
Yes.
You can always get the audio, iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, SoundCloud. Support us on Patreon as well. We talked about the Emmys, Pete. I want to go ahead and go into, it's going to be a very popular, a very common segment on the show. I do want to go into streaming stars. Oh, yes, that was a beautiful graphic that Mr. Pete Fletcher made. That was gorgeous. And it is the topic of our show this week. We're going to spend a bulk of the time on this, everybody. It is the Mandalorian Season 2 trailer. We're asking that you guys please be sure to keep up with us in the live chat. If you're watching on the rewind or you're listening, by all means, comment in the comment section or tweet us at BTBD Star Wars to continue this Star Wars conversation, okay? But we want to talk about this trailer, and eventually we are going to talk about ripped Gamorrean guards. Okay, so the first time we're going to do it,
There it is.
please, for the love
There
of
it is.
God, we're all going to do it right now. We are going to take this live stream, and we are going to share it on Twitter, and we're going to tag 3 people that we think should be watching this show with us right now. Why are we doing this? Because we're trying to grow the message of B2B Live. It's also to grow the network, because I'll tell you this. A couple weeks ago on September 5th, we got together for the Podathon, and we had like 40 people. We had like 30 people throughout the day with us, and it was amazing, okay? But what if we are able to double that live audience? What if we are able to have 80 people, 100 people, 1,000 people with us next year for the second Podathon here on the Beyond the Blast Doors network? We can only do that if we grow the network. So everybody right now, we're doing that real quick. We're sharing this. We're trying to get the live chat open. And when people join us, they'll be able to talk about The Mandalorian with us, which is pretty exciting because I think, Pete, a lot of fans, we just kept asking for this trailer to drop.
Yep.
And I got to tell you, after seeing this trailer, I think it's a really good teaser.
Yep.
I think it's an okay trailer. I just really, really, really want the end of October to be here so we can finally get our eyes on this first episode of Season 2, because I think, Pete, it's best to describe this as epic. What do you think about that?
I mean, if you look at the scenes that they showed us, and you know what I should have done before I got on, and I'll do it when we're done, is look at this trailer for Season 1. Trailer for Season 1, if I recall, was a lot of action on the ground, and I think the series itself had a lot of action on the ground. And so the thing that struck me in seeing this trailer the first time was that it opened in space. It opened, and it just felt like we were in a much larger universe. We were getting more access to the Star Wars world that we know and love. Whether it's, we'll probably talk about what we thought we saw, but it felt like a more epic universe. So epic, I think, is the right word. I also feel like the action we saw felt like it. More sort of cinematography that you'd see in a film. I felt like things just there was a bigger presence to what we were seeing, I think.
I think for me, from a cinematography standpoint, and we'll touch on this a couple times, what we've done is we've isolated our 11 favorite moments, or the 11 biggest moments of this teaser trailer, whatever you want to call it, and we'll break down each one. But it's as if Star Wars learns from itself in its storytelling. You kind of have this rigid shot taking, sequence of shots and editing in the original trilogy with a lot of crossfades, right? A lot of wipes, okay? And as the story gets told over these years, you get new directors in the mix. Like, there's one specific scene that we'll touch on where I'm like, wow, I think that scene doesn't happen until Rogue One is told. And I really like the fact that Star Wars kind of evolves with itself. So I say we just go ahead and dive in on this. We aren't watching the trailer together because we don't want Disney to slap us on the hand. We don't want that. So let's just go right into it, Pete. The first shot that we get in this trailer is the Razor Crest, which is not the Lego Razor Crest, because that is not a real thing. But the Razor Crest in the show is kind of drifting here in space. It's kind of beaten battered here, bud.
I think we saw a number of pieces of that, and my sense, I can't tell you when I think it happens in the series because I don't know, but I think it's a major important piece, and I think it's how he gets somewhere important because they did show, um, later on you see a ship burning up through an atmosphere. You do see eventually, and I think it's on the shot that we have for the thumbnail for the episode. We see a ship that I'm not sure if it is the Razor Crest crashed in snow, but either way, it looks like looks like the ship gets a Millennium Falcon in Solo, a Star Wars story treatment sometime during this season. But it did strike me, and in fact, if you we encourage you to check out our trailer reaction video because we took all the hosts from Beyond the Blast Doors Network and we all watched it, um, and we all reacted to, and it was the first thing that obviously it struck me in seeing it, but um, the door is open, it's floating through space, it's chugging along, it's trying to get somewhere. It looks like the Mando is defeated at one point.
I really like this is where I think the CG skill is really demonstrated. Like just the subtle flicker of the lights inside the Razor
Yeah.
Crest as it's sifting across, I think is pretty cool. The next image I think is pretty super fantastic as well. It's causing quite a bit of controversy though, because if you see a Tusken Raider, you have to be on Tatooine now, don't you know?
Yeah, but I feel like again, one of the things that we've talked about it before when we had Steele on the show a couple weeks ago and we talked about that infamous episode number 5. Um I think that episode number 5 has set up a lot of things that are happening in this episode, and I think the fact that the Mandalorian had some sort of relationship, the ability to converse with the Tuscans, I think it's gonna play in here somewhere because one of the later shots in the trailer where there's a guy being hung upside down, looks like by a light post. You can hear a Tuscan Raider sort of bellow in the background. So I don't know. Is he teaming up with the Tuscans? Is he helping them out? Either way, to see a bantha in all its glory is enough to make me smile.
So are
But
you
yeah,
telling
let's
me
go
that
back to
do you think this
yeah,
is Tatooine?
I do. I think we're back at Tatooine. I think this is where the alleged Boba Fett connection comes in. I think there's going to be something there. I even think there's a chance that there's a couple episodes on Tatooine. I think there's going to be a story arc on Tatooine, which could include the revisit of Ming Na Wen's character, Fennec Shan, and I think it's going. I think they're going to go back to what they left there.
Yeah, I think it's really I I'm I'm curious to see if you are correct about it being Tatooine because I kind of feel like you're out on the outer rim. It makes sense. I know it's a hive of scum and villainy, that Mos Eisley Cantina which incredibly we got to go back and visit right in season 1.
Yep.
I think it's interesting if Tatooine does play a larger role. But I mean, you had the opportunity to tell this intimate story on the outskirts and not have that original trilogy cast really involved.
Yep.
You are telling this smaller story in the galaxy, but at the same time, it seems so much more vast. I feel like we shrink the galaxy if we're just going back to Tatooine again. I could be completely wrong.
Yeah.
I could be completely wrong.
Well, I think one of the reasons why I'm okay with it is Tatooine. It's so funny. I mean, think about the line that Luke Skywalker said in A New Hope: "If there's a bright center of the universe, this is the planet that is farthest from." Well, it has played such an important part in the evolution of, yeah, sure, the Skywalker story, but without the Skywalker story, your galaxy has a different outcome. This is why I really wish instead of Jakku it was Tatooine, instead of Pisana it was Tatooine. It should have been the connection there. So I don't mind going back there. I do think, as part of the hunt for the Jedi, as we hear in the flashback voiceover throughout the trailer, maybe he's got it. Maybe he's hunting down Luke Skywalker, the last known Jedi, right at this point.
I think that's a really interesting point that you just made, and I also want to shout out Andy because over at Hollow Chronicles, he did an awesome write-up about the Mandalorian Season 2 trailer, which you can read right now at BeyondTheBlastDoors.com. And one of the things that I like that he mentions is, I thought the armor was speaking as if she is present in Season 2, did not make the connection that these are lines from Season 1. He points that out in his article. I thought it was a great touch, and it makes me want to take a moment and just say, I hope to the dear Lord that we get more of the armor. I hope she beats some ass at the end of season 1 that we don't see, and she's
Mhm.
somehow back involved with the happenings here in season 2, Pete.
Yeah, and I think it, I think she also becomes our connection, perhaps, to Bo-Katan and the Darksaber. I mean, so think about the two storylines that we know are happening that was not alluded at all to in the trailer, other than a really brief glimpse of some stormtroopers and some folding Tie fighters. But the we know about the story of the child. We know that his mission in this one, at least, who knows where the story goes, right? We thought we knew what was going to happen in season 1 until 31 minutes into episode 1. Um, but we understand his mission to be returning the child to his home, right? That's his objective, or at least to the people who he belongs with, whether it's the enemy sorcerers, as he calls them in the trailer, or wherever he ends up. But there's that whole dark saber story. There's that whole rumor that we're going to get more clones. There's or some sort of play from Tamora Morrison. So there's so much else that's going to go on. Um, eh, I don't know where I'm going with this, other than to say I think that that's the central story is a nice connection, um, and I think that's how you get to Tatooine. I think that's how you get to these other planets, and I think I have a sense, because there was a comment, I think, in the article, it was in Entertainment Weekly, where they said it's more like Empire Strikes Back, right? Or you want your sequel to be more like Empire Strikes Back. Empire took the story in a different direction, right? And I think this will take the story directionally where we expect it to, but it's going to take a very strange turn to get there.
Yeah,
Does that
I
make any
don't think
sense?
you're
Or am I
wrong.
rambling?
No, you're fine. You did ramble, but damn it, we're passionate. We're having a good time, and because you think we're going to Tatooine, I'm going to say this is Elam. Damn it, I want it to be. I want this to be Elam. I would love for this to be the case because we know that. Don't you know? I got that
Oh,
accent
what
back.
is going on with that?
I don't. I have no idea. But the point that I was trying to make is we know that Elam is the planet that becomes Starkiller Base.
Yep.
Jon Favreau months ago teased some origins of the First Order are going to present themselves within the Mandalorian. So you got these little whisperings, and it really does feel as if we're going to see Elam. We're going to go maybe find kyber crystals because maybe that's where the child is being drawn to. I'm thinking
Yep.
that I'm kind of curious, and I don't want to. I want to do a really good job of not jumping ahead, but one of the overarching themes here of this thing is got to get this child back to its kind, and I think that separating its kind might not be a bunch of little Yodas running around. It's
Right.
these space wizards, these
Force sensitive.
sorcerers, these
That's right.
Jedi.
Yep. Yep.
And if there is someone hiding out on Elam, I think that's really interesting. And if it's not, and somehow the Force is guiding the Mandalorian and the child to Elam, why is that happening? That's a question that I really want to have answered if that's the case. I mean, right now we're speculating, it's a frenzy,
Sure.
but this is an instance where I do not feel that we're shrinking the galaxy by going to this location because honestly, Elam, it was in the Micro series. There was like that 3-minute episode where they're in the temple doing the training, right? Yoda defeats all the separatist droids from 2003. I think you get in a couple comics. Maybe it's mentioned in a book. I think we've had it in an episode or two of the Clone Wars more recently. But it's one of those planets where the majority of fans, this will be their first encounter with this planet that is
Sure.
incredibly force sensitive. So I'm all into it, Pete. Am I being unrealistic?
No, it's so funny. I think um, I've seen some of the theories. I've seen some of the pictures. Did you play Jedi Fallen Order? You did, right?
Yes, I did. I had not finished the game though.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
But that's okay. You're forgiven. But you do have Elam plays a big part in that game as well. And so, to your point about the first introduction to this planet, very similar to, hey, what's our first introduction to the dark saber? Doesn't matter. You don't need the full story. You can get the full story if that's your thing. If all you find out from the story being told, if you're a quote unquote normie, is Jerry the canon junkie likes to say, um, if you just find out that it's a place where the Jedi get their kyber crystal, that's all you need to know. That's cool. Um, yeah, I am with you. I would love for it to be Elam. Here's the thing: we're going to be wrong on all these, by the way. We usually are, because they do such a great job of taking it in different directions. But I think you do see a gigantic doorway in one of the crevices on the snow planet there,
Mhm.
so it is quite possible. It is quite possible.
My fingers are crossed that we are going to the Force full planet, the Force sensitive planet. I don't know how to quite to read that, but that's what I'm hoping for. The next frame, I don't want to spend any time on it. It's just there. It's the image from the thumbnail. It's the Razor Crest, I think, behind him. It's some maybe that's an X-wing behind him. I'm not quite sure, but it looks like it's
I
beating
don't
the
think it's an
crap.
X-wing, but yeah, it is a definitely. I know you don't want to spend any time on it. It is a beaten to crap ship. It looks like it could very well be the connection, um, to some of the other, the sort of the crashing kind of thing. But I'm not sure if where on the Razor Crest those markings are. I know the Razor Crest has orange markings. We could rip this one apart, but yes, a crashed ship on a frozen planet does not look good. Baby Yoda looks sad.
Baby Yoda
I,
does look sad.
I think one of my favorite comments about the trailer was somebody. I think it was Laura from Forsto said, "These are all great and all, but I do hope that Baby Yoda has shoes on because it's cold out there."
Want to welcome Adam into the live chat. Want to welcome in
Adam,
Marie. Marie is a good friend of the show, of course, and you know her because Marie Wilson likes to do our well, she does like to do our podcast, but she also does comic book reviews on our website every week. And now that Marvel is putting out comics again, we're starting to get Star Wars comics. We're happy to say that we will have those comic book reviews on BeyondTheBlastDoors.com. And even right now, you can go to Beyond the Blast Doors right now because just uploaded is our
what?
exclusive review of Darth Vader #5. It's that one, Pete,
What?
with the sexy cover of it's like half
Oh,
Vader,
yeah.
but it's half Anakin. I mean, I know they're the same thing, but you're going to try and tell me it's not the same thing. I'm just having fun. Anyway, so like it's just a beautiful, gorgeous cover. Marie breaks it all down. It is spoiler heavy, so do yourself a favor. If you haven't already, go to your local comic book store, buy the comic book, read the comic book, then read the review. Or read the review now, then go buy the comic book. Either way, however you want to do it. But big shout out to everybody that's in the live chat. Hey, Pete, did you know that there's harbors in Star Wars, which at first I was like, what? There's harbors? But it makes sense because there's a lot of planets we've read about in the
Yeah.
EU that they don't have the technology to get off planet. They just have the technology to live on the planet.
Like Earth, kind of. So, do you think it's Mon Cal? Yeah, I think it is.
You know that? Okay, so I'm looking at this image and I can't really tell. It looks honestly like Earth. It looks like there's traffic lights off in the distance. I don't know. It could be Mon Cala, but I want to be like, well, there would have to be, there'd have to be bigger buildings, because the spaceships, right? Like, was it Hope
Mhm.
1 or whatever, or Akbar's Revenge or whatever those ships are called? Like, they're
Yeah,
actually
the Hope 1. Yep.
buildings. Yeah, they're buildings that are converted into spaceships. We don't see that in this shot. I mean, it could be. I don't know what the hell it could be. Really anywhere. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Is this the planet where people are thinking it's Camino?
Yeah, some people were thinking it's Camino. I'm
Yeah,
saying,
I'm calling
well, you know what
BS.
though? Here, what's great about this whole fan theory thing. First of all, we only have 6 weeks to wait. We don't have a year and a half to wait, so that's awesome. But the only it could be maybe the cloning business goes to hell and they have to, I don't know, resort to this. I don't know. Either way, it is so cool to see um the Quarren as fishermen, which is kind of strange if you think about it, right? I mean, I'm guessing they're fishermen. They all look like fishermen. Somebody said that this in a way looks like the Colossus, which I thought would be kind of an interesting thought as well. I mean, that takes place, Rise of the Resistance, or the Resistance animated series, takes place before, of course, Force Awakens, as does this. That would be interesting if this was an early format of that. I don't think it is, but um, I think I loved what I saw here. I thought it was some of the most original Star Wars stuff we've seen. I don't think we've ever seen this, certainly in live action before.
I'm totally with
But
you.
it's, yeah.
I'm totally with you. And Pete, I'm gonna retract what I said. I think it's gonna be Mon Cala, because I'm an idiot, and I just now realize there's like 15 Quarren in this damn shot. So maybe it seems
Yeah.
like a safe bet, unless there's like a gang that invaded, I don't know, someone else's harbor. But I think Mon Cala would be fun to explore. I think because the only time I think that we have seen it, Clone Wars, right? The recent run. It was also
Yep.
in the micro series. And I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure like Mon Cala are like more like surface and Quarren are undersea. I could be wrong about that. Maybe that's an EU piece of knowledge in my head that's not accurate anymore. But really fun species to play around with. So I mean, not to play around with, but like to
Yeah.
to see on screen. But
But
I
so,
think
I'm looking at Wikipedia on Mon Cala, and actually the planet that we see at the beginning of the trailer not the gas giant, but the one that he's floating toward,
Yep.
does kind of look like the way Wikipedia has Mon Cala drawn up. So,
Oh, well, there you
I don't
have it.
know.
Wikipedia right there, everybody.
Wikipedia is never wrong. Actually, who was it who said the other day? I think it was Matt Martin said that Wikipedia is the greatest fan project ever done.
Yeah, it's incredible.
Star Wars or otherwise. It is wild. But yeah, I mean, look, it's Star Wars. It could be. We know that there are at least uh, uh, 4 desert planets we've seen in live action. So who knows what this planet's going to be? But I'm voting Mon Cala. That's my guess.
Well, there you go. The real topic though of this scene though is this hooded figure, which is the beautiful actress, the WWE fighter. I'm just calling her Sasha.
Sasha Banks.
We have a lot of controversy here. Some people think Ahsoka, definitely not Ahsoka. I think some people think Sabine, possibly Sabine. I just think if it was Ahsoka, we know Rosario Dawson is Ahsoka, so it's not Ahsoka.
And Sasha Banks, Sasha Banks said she was in the trailer. The other thing is, if you look at the hood, there's no top tendrils, so we know it's not Ahsoka, but it could be 17 million other people, which is where all the controversy and excitement is.
It could be cool, and I think it's definitely misdirection. I think this is maybe more like a spy role in the show because she disappears really quickly when you're actually watching the trailer. I know they reference the Jedi, but I think it's a misdirect. I don't think that's really what's going on here, but a really cool frame nonetheless. And let's see what's next. Well, we don't have to spend a whole lot of time, but this kind of like an afterthought though from the last conversation. We got a boat just kind of trudging along in the water. It's a cool boat.
It looks awesome. I think it looks really cool. I mean,
I would ride that boat.
In Star Wars. You know what? It's funny because now I've watched the trailer like most of us 18,000 times. I love the little blue lights on the back of it. That makes it a Star Wars boat, right? Otherwise, it's just a trash barge off the coast of New York City. But those blue lights on the back make it Star Wars. I mean, it's just
absolutely.
Works. Yeah,
it's like it's a space pontoon. It's about 27 feet. You can have about a family of 12 on there.
They're efficient.
It's a tri-tune. Adam in the live chat says planets are big places. Plus, first time in live action, it could definitely be Mon Cala. And you know what? I'm into it. I'm gonna buy into that because why not? It's fun if you do. Maybe most talked about scene. Pete, did you wet your pants when you saw an X-wing fighter fly up along the Mandalorian?
Oh my gosh, it was so great. So though, I think I was more excited by the flight through the clouds, but to see that X-wing pull up next to the Mando, it brings you right to Star Wars, right? And as much as I love the X-wings in the sequel trilogy, just look at that picture right there. Just look at the way. I mean, it's just an X-wing. I mean that. It pulls you back to 1977 or whatever year you got into Star Wars, but it just that's Star Wars, man. That is Star Wars right there.
And I totally agree with you. I really like the idea of the Rebel Alliance being out there snooping around. Some people think that it might be Luke, and that's R2-D2 in the back. I don't think you're going to see the original 3 in this series at all. But I like the idea of there being like a mission or something where the Rebel Alliance is involved. Remember, we saw X-wings in season 1, so it's not uncharacteristic of the series. Really excited to explore more about how active is the Alliance right now, 5 years post Return of the Jedi.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought you were going to say more to that. Okay, that's okay.
No. I thought it was a question.
Screw you.
No. Well, I mean, we did see X-wings in season 1, like you said, and I think it was Hollow Chronicles that posted a question about what role is the Alliance going to play as it relates to the Mandalorian. Is it going to be in a way? Is it going to be supporting them? Here's my hope. I hope he doesn't become a Rebel Alliance sort of character. I want him to remain independent. I want them to be as much of a hassle as the Empire to get his job done.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I think, and that I like how you said. I want him to be like a private business owner or what? Oh gosh, what's the phrase? Oh gosh, I'm so blanking on this. When you have like a brewery, independently owned. There we go. God, I got there. Yes, because in not Star Wars news, Molson pulled off the freaking deal of the century. Whoa, this is a rated R episode now, fam.
Uh-oh.
We're just having a great time.
Click children off.
Yeah, cut the children off. Molson bought, or they agreed to a partnership with Yingling, and Yingling is the oldest brewed beer in the country, and they're only in 22 states, and now it's going to be nationwide. It's one of my favorite beers. I'm very happy. That's why I was thinking about what independently owned meant. It's because for a long time, that's what Yingling meant to a lot of us, okay? And now it's not necessarily independently owned, but we'll get onto that later. That's for the brewery. That's Beyond the Brewery podcast. This is Beyond the Blast Doors.
Right, yes.
Oh, my gosh. Hey, you know what? We didn't see...
we just came up with a new Patreon show. That's awesome.
Oh, we'll do that. Oh, my gosh. Beyond the Brew. We all get our favorite beers, and we just drink. That's a Patreon exclusive if I heard one. Text Andy. I think he's down, too. So is Josh. Shannon, does she drink? We'll get her to drink. Peer pressure.
Yes.
No. Hey, so my least favorite thing about this trailer is we got no Moff Gideon, and we did get some Cara Dune, and we got some Grief Karga for a 3-second frame. They got new looks, and Pete, I'm really into Grief. Like he looks royal or like Chancellor like.
It looks to me like, first of all, I think it looks like he's on Navarro 7 still, right? Because you still have you have the pillars in the background. It looks very much like he hasn't got. It looks like though he has upped his position at, he's become Chancellor, King, whatever of the town, and Kara's sticking around with him. But I think the fact that they got only this little brief connection, I think, or a glimpse, I don't think we're going to see a lot of them in this season. I think this episode is going to be Carl Weathers' episode that he directs, but I don't think we're going to see a lot of them in the season. Just my opinion.
This might be my favorite shot of the trailer. And well, no, I take it back. It's my second favorite. Dang it! It is my second favorite because this is the shot that I mentioned earlier. This shot does not happen unless you have Rogue One, because you have a very similar shot. These stormtroopers are running down the hallway. You get this like low angle. You also get something similar to this shot in Rise of Skywalker when you have Finn and Rey and Poe running down the one ship's hallway, and they're just blasting troopers left and right. Like you feel like you're a mouse droid running along the troopers, and I think that's a really cool perspective, Pete.
Yeah, and it's what do you think? Do you think it's a Star Destroyer? I think it's a Star Destroyer.
It would make sense that blast door kind of looks a little strange at the end of the hallway. Like I don't think I've seen that in a. I don't think I've seen that.
Actually, you know what? I'm gonna retract that. I'm gonna say it's a walker. That looks like the angles of a walker. That could be running toward the cockpit of the walker. That's what I'm going with. That's my prediction. They're running down toward the cockpit of a walker that somebody's taken control of. That's my uneducated opinion on this one.
Interesting. Pete, you sound like you're going underwater right now. I don't know if you want to check your mic or anything, but you're sounding a little staticky. I'm not sure if it's a connection issue or not, but I'll let you take a look at that real quick while I go ahead and just remind everyone that this is my second favorite shot in the trailer. I'm a big fan of it. If it isn't a walker, like Pete said, which I think is a really bold idea, and I love that idea. I love the idea of being in a walker, maybe commandeering a walker. It could be an Imperial boat. Maybe it's like an Imperial barge or anything. The Empire has a lot of fun toys. Why not make it a boat? But I think, Pete, we'll both agree, when Epic popped into our minds, it was the scene where we're seeing speeder bikes go off cliffs and diving.
Yeah. I think 100%. I think just seeing the Empire in its sort of in its sort of reconstructed glory, I think is pretty cool. I love this. This was a shot that made me like jump back in my seat a little bit, just to see, first of all, again, seeing speeder bikes, seeing scout troopers, and then doing a wicked jump off the side of a cliff or something. It was pretty wild.
Yeah, to me, when I first saw this scene, I'm going to be honest, I really thought to myself, oh, am I becoming a curmudgeon fan where I'm like, speeder bikes can't do that? And I'm like, why the hell can't they do that? I think it's interesting. Like speeder bikes go like really fast.
There's a fire in space.
I'm sorry?
There's no fire in space either, so
right, there's no sound in space. Yeah, so I did that thing where I realized that we're dealing with like, a space opera. I let it go. I think it's pretty cool. I think that Stormtrooper totally breaks his ankle if he tries to pivot when he lands. But that's just me. I think he should blow up immediately because keep your hands and legs inside the cart at all times. Okay, I thought it was awesome. I think that it's a great throwback to Return of the Jedi. I think that early speeder
Yes.
bike chase is an iconic moment for so many fans when they first see Return of the Jedi. I think that Lucas tried to top it with the speeder chase and Attack of Clones, and I'm not quite sure that it worked as well as he hoped. But I think that we've had a few opportunities to interact with the scout troopers. I think of Taika Waititi's episode.
Punching the baby.
Well, that there was that, but I just felt like the scout trooper was really cool and unique when I first saw it in Return of the Jedi, because I felt like we got the least amount of time to play with that action figure. You got the stormtrooper, then you got the pilot, and Empire you get the snowtrooper. Looks to me is still the most badass trooper of them all. And then you got the scout, and so I like how this is being incorporated a lot in the series so far. I'm excited to see what we do with that trooper moving forward. I want to pull up this next scene, Pete, and I know you're gonna have an opinion on it. It's kind of a follow up to the first Elam clip. We don't have to spend a whole lot of time on it, but just the fact he's walking into what looks like a cave on this ice snow planet. I mean, I do think this is gonna be Jedi ruins, man.
Yeah, I think so too. That's the part that makes me feel like this could very well be Elam. I mean, it makes sense. Plus, has it been confirmed that Starkiller Base was Elam?
There was like the map. Right? There was like the map that they basically were in the same location, and no one ever talked about it. And I thought there was something that came out with the Rise of Skywalker that confirmed it. I'm sure someone in the live chat could be like, "Oh man, it was this moment where we confirmed that Elam was." It almost might be like a Twitter exchange. I mean, it might be something so minute as that, but I think I'm pretty sure it has been confirmed. I'm sure someone will let me know, just like how Andy's mentioning that I was minus 7 years old when Return of the Jedi came out. I was not even a sperm. That is correct. Okay, cool. So what is the next frame that we went to? Oh, would you look at this? It's a ripped Gamorrean guard. There's actually 2 of them, Pete.
Gamorrean guards fighting. So I tweeted out the other day, and I stand by it. Gamorrean guards have big butts. I don't understand, like even the ripped ones, they got this weird sort of tutu thing happening there. But it was cool just to see them. It's cool to that whole sort of fighting scene is that's very Star Wars. That felt like pulled into this could have been in any Star Wars movie. I thought this was great.
I do, and you know what though? It's so funny because I've always kind of wondered if these creatures played any kind of role elsewhere in the galaxy, and it's really cool to see this kind of scene. Reminds me of the fun that we had in Solo when you saw the robots battling each other.
Yep.
I think of the Micro series when Asajj Ventress is letting all these bounty hunters and mercenaries basically kill each other, trying to get this contract from Dooku. I thought, I like this gladiatorial vibe that we get sometimes in Star Wars, and this was really great. It's nice to see them in shape. I mean, like, not that it's nice for me to see them in shape. You know what I mean? Like, it's just cool to see, they're not all rather obese. They're all not getting fat. They're not all eating those things with Jabba. I don't know. I lost track of what they were called. I'm sorry. Marie did confirm in the visual dictionary for the Rise of Skywalker is why we know Elam is Starkiller Base.
Okay.
I thought it was a really cool scene, Pete. I do want to ask everybody, because we did say ripped Gamorrean guard. Let's take 3 people on Twitter and let's get the live chat flowing again. But all that said, I really do enjoy this. The flags. I think the flags in the top right corner have to, kind of like, Maz Kanata's temple.
Exactly.
In The Force Awakens. They got to be having some kind of secret, right?
Yeah, I think so. And I'm surprised nobody has gone through flag by flag and pointed out which Mandalorian clan is represented, etc. But it was cool to see. It just, again, it added something to that. And the lighting, you mentioned the robot fighting scene in Solo, similar lighting, similar situation. So I love this. I think this this was one of those things again, it was the trailer was had enough of these sort of call outs to the fans, these sort of Easter eggs, or at least sort of, hey, remember this kind of moments that it made the trailer come to life.
Andy in the live chat says, my Gamorrean got none unless you got buns, hon. So that's great. That's I
Yes.
that baby got back reference. That's wonderful. Semper Fi Danny in the live chat. The planet, by the way, also looks like Vandor, the planet with the train scene
Yeah.
in Solo. Oh, very
Haven't thought of that.
interesting.
Very well played. Yeah.
I'm really into that. What if the water planet and the snow planet are the same planets, Pete? So, I mean, I'm not trying to be
What
like
if the
that
whole
guy.
thing is just one planet that has, multiple climates like Earth?
Yeah, and then at the
No?
very
Did I
end,
just kill him?
at
Yeah.
the very end, they just pull out a camera and you just see the actor standing in the middle of the volume, and they're like, "It's all fake.
We're just kidding. This isn't real. It's just a movie.
None of it's
Yeah.
real." We want it to be so bad. Hey, so we just went through our 11 favorite moments, the 11 top moments of the Mandalorian trailer. When we gave you our feedback on them, Pete. Before we transition out of the Mandalorian conversation, because my
Sure.
goodness, it's
Yes.
taken us back basically the whole hour. You know, we talked about what we liked in these scenes. Is
Yeah.
there anything that didn't work? And I don't want to spend a whole lot. I don't think there's a whole lot we don't like about this. But was there anything that was there one thing that really stuck out as like, oh, I'm not sure why that was included?
Honestly, no. I think they set the tone for where they were going to be. But again, it's so funny. Star Wars trailers have taught us that there's so many misdirection opportunities. I think the Sasha Banks character, it would be hilarious if she's literally like in it. Like, I mean, look, how much time did we expect Fennec Shand to have in the show? A ton. How much did we expect? I mean, Cara Dune, yes, she did play a bigger role as the show went on, but we expected her to be part of it from very early on. So I don't know. I think there was nothing about it I didn't like. All it did was it worked perfectly because now I cannot wait till October 30th. I want this show to start. I want to get going with this.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I think what happened with me was there was so much anticipation for this trailer
Yeah.
that I really
Hmm.
did think it was going to be like a 2-minute juggernaut, which really gave us a grasp of the direction of where we were going. And this, in its best form, this is a teaser trailer, and I think it reminds me that I'm not getting hyped for this trailer. Whether this trailer was a minute long or 5 minutes long, I'm going to be there at the end of October at Disney Plus, pulled up on the TV, watching that first episode drop. That's what I'm getting excited for, and I'm kind of curious. We know that each
Yeah.
episode of season 2 will be various in length. They will be diverse in length, and so we might have a couple 30-minute episodes. We might have a couple 35, 40-minute episodes. We're just not quite sure what we're going to get there, but I'm at the edge of my seat with anticipation. I'm looking for growth in character development. We got a lot with Din Djarin. I'm hoping to learn a little bit more about grief, but I'm kind of with you. I
Hmm.
think we're going to have very limited grief karga in this
I
season.
think so
I
too.
want to. What are the other things I want? I want to see confidence with actors in their roles. Cara Dune is a character that I think mimics Gina Carano in a lot of ways, in the sense that kind of new to the scene, has to get comfortable working with others like the Mandalorian, like Grief, and this
Hmm.
rebel sharpshooter has to kind of buy into, again, a shared vision. So I want to see that kind of brought to the forefront. But again, I'm kind of concerned we're not going to get a lot of Cara Dune in this second season. And I
Yep.
also would like to see a lightsaber clash with a dark saber, and I guess that is my one
Mm.
fault of this footage. I was hoping if we didn't get Ahsoka, we would at least hear from Moff Gideon say something about revenge of the Jedi or something with the dark saber. But alas, they just have to make me watch the actual show.
I mean, think about it. It's less than a minute and 51 seconds. It's a minute and 51 seconds with a bunch of titles at the beginning and the end. So, or long title cards. We didn't really get much at all. I think we're going to my next prediction, which again I'm notoriously wrong, but my next prediction is we will get um, by the end of, or beginning of October on Monday Night Football, we'll get another one of those previews,
Oh,
and that'll give us a little bit more whet of the appetite, and that's where I'm predicting we'll see Ahsoka. Um, Again, though, couple things, and this is spoilery. So if you're not in the spoilers, hang on a minute or move on. But somebody had said that Rosario Dawson is listed in just one episode on IMDb um, for the show. So that tells us what we kind of suspected. It'll be one episode to sort of set up her show. I would put a good deal of chips on it being chapter 6, The Sorcerer. So I'm not sure. again, I think we didn't see much at all. We saw enough to make us go, "Give me the show," and it worked because we're all at that moment right now. It's 6 weeks out. It's not that bad. We're gonna make it. But
I don't
it
believe
was.
you.
I thought it was the right length of the show or the trailer, I believe.
That's right. Coming to BTB Live, episode 88, where we've got the right length for you. Okay, so what do you think about The Mandalorian? We've spent, good God, a lot of time talking about it. I guess we liked it or something. We're going to watch that show in October. I'm really excited for it to drop. My goodness, I want Moff Gideon. I just want him. I just want it so bad. And I want, Pete, I love what you said. If we're getting some AT-ATs in this show, I think that's going to be really exciting. There's a frame going around the internet. I don't know what it was. It looked like it was Starkiller based with like Imperial walkers. I don't know what it was from. I think people were trying to tie it to the Mandalorian. I don't know, but my goodness, if we're gonna get a little First Order Imperial crossover, I'm all for
That'd be cool.
it any day of the week. Hey, I've been talking a lot, Pete, and I know that you like the sweet sound of my voice. Well, I mean that's kind of
Oh
sarcasm
yes,
in a
all the
way.
time.
I'm going to actually ask you, if you don't mind, can you take over and tell people why they should check out BeyondTheBlastDoors.com? Would you be willing to do that for me? Pretty
I
please,
would
with
love
sugar
to
on
do
top.
that. So when you wake up in the morning and you want your Star Wars fix, as we all do, I always grab my phone, I check Twitter, I check my messages because all my network buddies, we've probably overnight have said more things than I can keep up with. The first place we want you to go though is beyondtheblasters.com. We want to give you a complete experience, the latest in our live shows, our podcast feeds, news, speculation, opinion pieces, comic book reviews, all written by your favorite BTBD network personalities. So whether it's movies or TVs or books or TVs, not buying TVs, but TV shows, comics, toys, cosplay, Beyond the Blast Doors Network is your place to go. Welcome to our Star Wars conversation.
Oh, nailed it. Hell yeah, man. Oh, that was great.
Yeah, baby.
Oh, God. It's almost at the hour mark on episode 88, and it's fine really if it wants to be the Mandalorian talk. We'll knock out a few things real quick here in the next 8 minutes. We don't want to keep everyone past our hour mark. We try and keep that promise, but real quick while we have the chance, I am going to pull up. This is on the website right now on your screen. This is that great breakdown that Andy posted, the Mandalorian season 2 trailer, and then right above here, this is Marie's spoiler review of Darth Vader #5, Dark Heart of the Sith. Part 5 by Greg Pak. You'll remember last week I was actually talking with you on the show about how I'm really into this new line of Vader. This is, I believe, the third. Oh man, it might be the second.
Third
I get
series,
confused because there was that shorter Vader run, like Vader Lost or something. I don't know. I wasn't really into it. It was kind of like horror, but it was Vader. But what Greg Pak is doing is a lot of fun. I know, Pete, that you're not really a comic book person, but I think the art is fun. I think the story is fast. Again, we're exploring the tomb of Padme. You have the Queen's handmaidens really involved here, and it's really a lot of fun. Check out the review by Marie. Coming tomorrow, we'll have the other comic out this week, and that was it was the Star Wars main line that we got. So really exciting stuff right now with Star Wars. We're getting the comics back out. You can check out that review that Marie dropped on the Darth Vader #5. The main Star Wars line also dropped, so we'll have a review on the website tomorrow. But really excited that we're always trying to make that promise of the movies, the comics, books, the toys, the cosplay, all that stuff that you heard Pete talk about, and that's what you're able to experience right now on Beyond the Blast Doors. So there's that happening. So that's the comic book talk. I think we wanted to spend just a little bit of time talking about this, Pete, and again, knowing that time is running short here, but who's excited about Star Wars Squadron after that freaking 6-minute masterpiece drops on YouTube two days ago? This was freaking amazing, man.
Yeah, I was excited for the game. Look, I'm going to say it right now.
Do it.
I'm going to suck at this game.
Probably.
I know I'm going to suck at this game. I love the flying games, but I haven't been good at one since X-Wing on my PC in like 1997. So
wow. I was 4.
I know that. But what they did with the 6.5 minutes was as good as anything I think we've seen on screen. And I know that's a little hyperbole because obviously it was computer generated, etc. But the drama that they were able to incorporate into 6.5 minutes, the story shifting, the the camera work felt like I was watching a movie. The way it opens up and the chase scenes into the planet where our Imperial pilot crashes, it just it gives me so much. It gave me more Star Wars vibes than we've had since the end of the Mandalorian. So, well, that's not true because we got Clone Wars, but I think it just felt like the Star Wars flying fighting action that we all sort of dream of. We all sort of think about.
Yeah, I'm right there with you, Pete. And the thing that I really liked about this, it, if I'm being like really honest about it, what I
Hmm.
really enjoyed was the fact that we got a sense that EA has figured it out.
Yep. Yep.
EA has hit some home runs here lately.
Yep.
Battlefront 2 with the campaign. Here we get Star Wars Squadron. Maybe
Yep.
well, we mentioned it once already. Jedi Fallen Order. It
Yep.
seems as if we've turned a corner here, and storytelling with video games it's picking up. It's not like the glory days of LucasArts, but my goodness, I mean, we're getting a game now. It feels like what a year, every year and a half, we've kind of
Yeah.
gotten a new cool game. And even then, it's not as often as LucasArts, but I'm really excited to play this game. I built my own laptop my own PC a few years ago. I'm going to buy this game for the PC. I'm hoping that that's the platform that you do. I think there's crossplay. Don't quote me on that. I'm really thrilled to experience this game. And the story, the campaign is something that I thought was so great about Battlefront 2, and it
Yep.
wasn't long enough. Jedi Fallen Order was this well flushed out story which rewarded you at every turn you took in that game. And here we go again. It looks like Star Wars Squadron is going to be a lot of fun. And I'm coming around this idea that there are squads within the Empire and the Rebellion that are known around the galaxy as like really talented pilots. At first,
Yeah.
I liked that there was no identity for the Imperial troopers. You know, I wanted them just all to be equal. But it seems like as the story of Star Wars is told more and more and more, there are more elite skilled troopers for the Empire.
Yep.
So I'm excited to see how this plays out. You mentioned the Star Destroyer. I'm looking at a shot right now where it's like rubble in the water with the pier with the like the rock
Yeah.
formations out in the distance. I mean,
Yep.
just you know me. I think a really great shot incorporates light and dark really well, and
Mhm.
that's a shot that does it. I can't show any of those shots right now just because I don't want to get flagged. Now I'm looking at a scene of debris. You really wish you were looking at my screen right now. I'll tell you that much because I'm just looking at all these great shots. But hey, we don't have to convince you. I think everyone here is going to get the game. Looks like the live the live chat's freaking going crazy. Apprentice Ewok, so excited to stream Squadrons, but I'm bad at flying. I think most of us are. That's why we don't pilot planes. I think that's for the best. I would really hate for you to pilot a plane if you were bad at piloting a plane. We don't all need a movie made about each other, okay? Death Star Dispatch, welcome into live chat, my friend. Squadrons look so dang good, I can't wait. I'm going to need. Oh no, the comment went away. Yes, here we go. I'm going to need to buy the throttle and joystick attachments for
Yeah.
PC. Peter, you gonna do that?
Yes, I am, but I'm gonna get it for PlayStation. Yeah, I'm gonna be a PS4 guy on this one, I think. So PS5, hopefully, but if I can get in and get the pre-sale. The other thing that I thought was great about this, I'm just gonna add it real quick, was in a 6.5 minute video, the drama that they built in. I think it's one of my it's always dangerous to say one of my favorite parts of Star Wars because it always changes all the time. But watching this, so one of the story I've told this story before, but I had written a story for Star Wars Adventure Journal that was going to be published, and then Star Wars Adventure Journal went out of business. So I still have the story. One day maybe I'll post it on beyondtheblastdoors.com. But it was a story about a pilot. It was a story about an Imperial pilot who goes AWOL. What I loved about this that I saw in this video was the pilot trying desperately to get back to the ship, and the Star Destroyer is like, "Screw you guys, we're out of here." It's sort of reminding you that the value that the Empire places on life versus even Anakin going back and trying to save some clones at the beginning of Revenge of the Sith, or the Rebel pilots working together against both Death Stars, etc. So just that sort of contrast. And then at the end of the video, spoiler alert, the guy gets the call that the battle's not over, and he puts his helmet back on and he goes right back to work. So it shows the contrast of the way Imperials think and the way the rebels think, and brilliantly done in 6.5 minutes.
I I fully agree. I want to jump in the live chat again because people are running wild with conversation. Austin Stranger is in the live chat. He says he's looking forward to Squadrons as well. Frammy says he needs to play. He really need to do a second Fallen Order playthrough.
Yeah.
I would also say we really need a second Fallen Order. I think there's a story to tell there. I think we should have a second Fallen Order. I think that's probably in the works. Nothing confirmed. Don't quote me. Unless I'm right, and then I'm famous.
Then quote you here.
Right. Battlefront 2 is made by Pandemic. Yes, they were involved, but EA still had part of the licensing there. Apprentice Ewok, PS4 Squad. Frammy's going to play on the Xbox One. Looks like Frammy's also suggesting that Tam was punished in Resistance for helping her fellow TIE pilot. So that was one thing that the Resistance show did do. Star Wars Resistance is on Disney XD. But we did actually get some insight into how the life of an Imperial pilot. So I should give that show some credit in this instance.
Yeah, and I think it's what we're seeing is sort of it's post Return of the Jedi, pre First Order. So all those relationships are starting to build. It's starting to happen. So.
Pete, we're at an hour mark here on episode 88, and as always, we would just thank you so much for giving us an hour of your time each week to talk Star Wars. Pete and I in the cockpit here together doing this show, and we're having a lot of fun with it. We're trying to do some things new, and we hope you're recognizing those things. We hope that you're enjoying those things, that they're fun for you, that they enhance your experience. Pete, like I said, we're at that hour mark. Do we want to go into the NFL Star Wars challenge real quick, and then we'll blast out of here, or should we call it a wrap?
I think let's hold that for next week, because who knows if we're gonna get any news next week. Let's hold that for next week.
We'll do that. And so what I'm talking about, we'll do a deep tease. What a deep tease is when you talk about something that you hope and think people will really like, and then you're like, hey, we're gonna do this, and then you wait a while to do it, so that way people hang out with you longer. It's also called lying to your friends in the 5th grade, so they think you're cool. No, but what I did was, I put out there on Facebook, and it was kind of inspired by Thursday Night Football last week. The NFL season finally, kicked off. Not finally, really. I guess it was on schedule. It just there was no preseason. But I was like, hey, if you know what, I even have a graphic to go with this because I was that planned this week. Look at me go, Pete. I posted. I was like, let's have some fun. If there's a football team, if there's football in Star Wars, what team do you follow? I really like the Geonosian Nexu. I thought that was a really cool name. Sounds pretty badass, but no one else seemed to think so. I asked for your best suggestions. Pete, we got 100 responses. It was pretty overwhelming.
Wow.
And so maybe, Pete, what's the best thing to do? Because I want to make a promise. We are going to do this next week. Should we go through that list together, and then we pick our top 5, and then we kind of like debate each other why, and then we'll put the top 3 or 4 on Twitter and let everyone vote.
Everybody pick number 1. Yeah.
All right, cool. And then that will be the official mascot of BTB Live. I have no idea what we'll do with it in the future. It might be a shirt. I just like the idea of making like fake football jerseys with these, because like some of them are pretty creative. Like I'm just gonna read a couple. Like you have like the scruffy Nerf herders. Okay, that's funny. That's a real, the Tashi power converters. The Dagobah destroyers. That's kind of lame. I'm not into that one so much. But you get the point. So we'll do that next week. Pete, anything that we need to let the good people know? Isn't there something? You got a new game with like the Oculus announced today with Galaxy's Edge you were excited about?
Yeah, Galaxy's Edge, the Batu experience in Oculus VR. They dropped a 36-second trailer today, bringing back Anthony Daniels as C-3PO. That looks exciting. It's a holiday release. You have the you also have PS5, which got its big announcements today. It's coming out November 12th. So this is going to be a great end of the year from a video game standpoint. You also, of course, have Squadrons hitting in October. That's not that far off. Like, it's only weeks away. We're going to get it before Mando. October is going to be a hell of a month for Star Wars.
It really is. And then that excitement, it's building you up for the holiday season. So I'm hoping there's a lot of fun stuff. You and I need to have a conversation because there's a list of 11 Black Series figures. I need to get all the Rebels ones because I didn't pre-order them because I'm an idiot. But then I want because like the new boxes are sweet.
Oh yeah.
And I want to get the Luke Snowspeeder pilot one and the Vader. Those look badass. We'll talk about that, of course, after the show because we're friends. We text each other all the time because we're the best buddies. Hey, this was Beyond the Blast Doors Live, episode 88. And we're glad that we can share this. I don't have an Oculus. I'm sorry, Pete. I wish I could continue the conversation, but I don't have an Oculus, so I can't really enjoy that with you. But I'm happy for you. You seem happy about it, and I hope the kids get some time to play with it. I feel like you're a hog with the Oculus.
Actually, yeah, Jack spends much more time on the Oculus than I do, which is poor parenting, but I'm okay with that.
Anything coming up with Around the Galaxy that you want to shout out real quick? The host of Around the Galaxy that drops every Tuesday or so on the Beyond the Blast Doors network.
Yeah, we're going to have a special guest Talking Bay 94 next Tuesday. So if you're a patron, go ahead and send us any questions you might have for Brad at Talking Bay 94, and we will. I'm speaking to him tomorrow night, and that show will drop next Tuesday. Also have a couple of really cool guests coming up down the pike, working through them right now.
Really exciting stuff. And next week we'll be joined with Marie Wilson. She's going to give us her comic book breakdown, and it's hopefully a segment that we're able to feature every week where Marie and I will be able to talk about 3 to 5 minutes about the latest what's happening with comics. And also going to try and get artists to come on the show. More details on that in the very near future. But my goodness, we did it together. Always so fun to talk Star Wars with you. Catch us every Thursday, 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific on YouTube. Catch us on the Rewind on YouTube, but also listen to us, iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, and SoundCloud. We are so thankful to have shared this moment it's history now. The time has passed, right? There's only the recent past and the near future. It's a George Carlin quote. I'm sorry. I'm a Carlin fan. I quoted it. We'll see you next week. Have a shot of whiskey for us. Have some wine. Have a beer. Hug your loved ones. Don't love you can love them too. Just be nice to people. We'll see you later.
Thank you for watching Beyond the Blast Doors. Be sure to subscribe to our channel. Don't forget, give us a thumbs up and leave a comment. Beyond the Blast Doors, a Star Wars conversation.